Hi everybody, it's Dave's Life Over 65. Just sitting here on a Sunday afternoon, and I decided to put together a little homemade fire kit. I've got these little cans I'll show you in a second, which would make excellent uh, tins for making char cloth, but right now I'm just making little fire kits out of them. So I'll show you what I've got. Here we go. This is the little tins I got from a little store not far from where I live. These candies are quite good. Very good, actually. So I didn't throw them out because they're excellent little char cloth camera on a tripod. So what we have here is my homemade. Now what I have is pieces of cotton. Since my late wife isn't around anymore, I've got all these cotton balls, and they make excellent fire starters. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration in just a second. This is dryer lint. It's basically just really fine cotton, and that catches fire really quick with either my little, I don't know if you're seeing this, I hope you are. It's a plasma lighter that really works well. I also have my Canadian Tire ferrous alum rod. It's cheap, relatively cheap. I have a fire steel and flint. Well, let's call it chert because I don't know if it's flint or not, but it does get some nice sparks. So that's in there and that's in there. And dryer lint. Now here's my homemade thing. This is what I call a homemade fire match. I'll show you how this one works because I've got some dryer lint in there. Now if you have a fire steel, you can easily set this on fire. I'll show you how it works. Now the only thing is with this particular setup, oh by the way I forgot to say what this was. This is dryer lint and duct tape wrapped around it. Duct tape burns really, really well, as you will see in a minute. And there's two ways you can do this. One, you can take the Bushcraft match, as I call it, and just, but you got to get it quick and let it set the duct tape on fire. There we go. That will burn for a long time. Okay. The other way you can do it is you can get a hold of some cotton, or better yet, dryer lint. Well, I used the dryer lint, so let's use some cotton. Just a little bit. And get yourself a fire match ready. You know, I left this end one strand on purpose, and I'll show you why. Oh, thought I had it, but I didn't. Oh, somebody's playing with the repeater. There we go. Now you got to be fast because this burns really fast.
V3SF, this is Secure Papa 5 stroke V30 single line.
That can burn for a very long time. I also use it if you're artistically inclined. You can take the hot stuff and make little pictures with it. Okay? So, cotton, dryer lint, flint and steel, And of course, I'll probably be adding some stormproof matches. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also have this little neato little thing. What the heck was that? Anyways, that goes with my my little plasma lighter. This makes a good little match too, especially if you coat it with either wax or Vaseline or something. It burns quite a long time. And believe it or not, it's quite hard to put out. There we go. These will go in there too. These are Vaseline coated jute twine. Yeah, let me get that out. And what you do is you smear Vaseline all over it, and then let it dry. Takes a couple of days to dry. And what you end up with is a match. If you take your flint and steel and rough it up, and the jute twine, as you can see, go. Which actually works. Well, it doesn't work here because the computer is affecting it. Yeah, it really is affecting it. But anyways, this does work if you don't have any magnetic fields. And the other thing it has, is, other than the paracord, which could be useful, is a little sharp object. You can cut things with that. But what it's really good for is on the other end, we have a ferrocellum rod. What are we looking at here? We have a little ferrocellum rod which you can start a fire with. All you need is a little cotton. Or dryer lint, which is down at the bottom now. Like one shot. It's a very fast burning tinder, but it'll give you a few seconds to start a, what I call a bushcraft match or whatever, or a tinder bundle, whatever you've got handy. So here I have 2 tinders I have wrapped up with elastic band. One of these things I talked about earlier. The elastic band itself can be considered tinder, although it's, I don't know if you can actually start it with the ferrocellum rod. Probably. I just haven't tried it, so I'm not going to say that that's easy. But what you can do is you can find a piece of tinder, and that tinder doesn't necessarily have to be cotton. You can take a tissue paper and this one's only 2-ply. The 3-ply work the best. Separate the plies. See, when you pull it apart, a little test bed. You pull it apart. Make lots of little fuzzies. Just about everybody has something like this in their pocket. And if you have a ferrocellum rod, this may not work right away, but here, let me get this going. I haven't used this for a while. There we go. Okay. Oh, almost. Sometimes you gotta rough it up really good. So you have lots of little fuzzies. It's not working today. All right, let's do it down here, like I did with the jute twine. You can also use the little serrated thingy that was in the this thing. Really good for roughing up newspaper and Kleenex tissues and stuff. Anyways, you can use the Kleenex tissues as a tinder source. Oh. Oh, it's dirty, I guess. Not throwing very good sparks. If you clean it off, I don't know why that is, but you have to clean it off, but it does work. There we go. And you would take your Bushcraft match and hold it there. Shutting it off so it doesn't smoke too bad. Just one quick tip I learned from, who was it? Oh yeah, the Corporal from Corporal's Corner. Sean showed a little trick which I think is pure genius. I think he learned it from David Canterbury or something. Yeah, you take 3 pieces of rolled up, they're all stuck together. You take 3 pieces of rolled up duct tape, arrange them. Are you seeing this? Just barely. And arrange them in a triangle. And then if you have a Bic or something, do I have a Bic? Maybe. Maybe not. Anyways, if you had a Bic, I don't want to waste these anyways, you would start each corner of the triangle on fire. That generates an enormous amount of heat, and then you would take it and put it underneath a damp tinder bundle, and there'd be enough heat generated by this for enough time that you'd be able to dry out the tinder and get it going, and then you can throw your kindling on top of that, and then once that's going, you can start putting on the thumb size sticks, and that way build a fire even if it's raining or it's snowing. So that's a good little hint from Sean, and I'm very happy that he showed us how that works, and I thought I'd pass it along to you. I'm going to try that one of these days this winter. Include that. And I don't know what I did with my Bic. Oh, I think I got a small one here. Just a sec. My messy drawer, there it is. But I don't want to use that. Where is it? Here it is. Here's a little half-size Bic. You know what? Let me stop it. Okay, we're back. There's a full-size Bic, which I usually carry with me. There's a little one, I think it works. Oh, yeah, it works. And if you have a plasma lighter, that could go in there too. Maybe a small X-Acto knife or something. A pair of tweezers, you know, this little kit. These are some of the things you can make up ahead of time before going out and about. So this is a pretty handy fire kit. I don't know what it weighs, a couple ounces, far less than a pound I would think. Certainly lighter than this pair of so even if you didn't have the lighter, the fire and steel or the ferrocellum rod, if you were wearing one of these, which I got at a dollar store for like, I think it was $5 or something. If you're wearing one of these things, the only thing, the reason I don't wear this, because it's kind of dangerous, because I'm always pinching myself, so you got to be careful when you put it on to hold it away from your skin. So I kind of like to hold it up out of the way. But you got to get it started first. There. So if you're wearing one of these when you're out and about, and you have one of these in your kit, like I say, you can throw that in a little day pack or something, and it would be just perfect. Now, the other thing I can use this for, which I was thinking about, would be to fill it with wax. And you can buy lamp wicks for oil lamps, and you can just saturate those wicks with wax, and then put it in the tin, weight it down with something, and then pour in a melted wax, and you've got yourself a survival candle, which can do a lot of things from using as a light source, or if you're in a confined area like inside your car, it can even bring the temperature up a few degrees, which might mean the difference between freezing and not freezing. So there's all kinds of little hobbies, little crafts that you can do at home. All you need is a little bit of duct tape and your imagination, and you can, if you're like me and a tenderfoot and don't get out much in the wintertime, there's lots of stuff you can do while you're in your room waiting for spring. So take care, everybody, and I hope you got something out of this video. I will be going out at some point. I just haven't really felt much like it since Diane passed. That's getting a little better, so that's one way I can get out of it. One of the things about hanging around the apartment is that I tend to get sad. There's so many things around here that remind me of her, and sometimes it just wipes me out. So if any of you've lost a loved one, you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyways, take care, be safe, and we'll catch you in the next one.